of equipment and gadgets and assign them to particular classes with the intention of encouraging the role of class gameplay while simultaneously adding structure to assist with the readability of encounters while you're on the battlefield. So hopefully in practice, this means that the game is going to be more readable, more balanced, and have some semblance of order and team play, much like the older Battlefield titles had. Whether this works or not for the better remains to be seen, and many people see this as a gamble, as the current player base are used to the complete freedom of choice with their favourite specialist, but it does bring the title more in line with classic Battlefield gameplay that many love, choosing a role and playing it to its strengths with a sense of purpose. And I feel like the most impact here in terms of gameplay will be with the engineer class and also the use of vehicles. After this patch, engineers will be the only infantry class who have access to rocket launchers. Keep that in mind. And as for the vehicles, well, the base tanks are getting an active protection system, and this is a huge buff for them as it can temporarily protect them from rockets. Air vehicles will also get below radar as a customization perk, and that's returning from previous games. And that means that if you fly below 30 meters from the ground, you'll ensure that you're immune to lock-ons from vehicle-based weaponry. Height limits are being reduced for helicopters though, bit of a nerf to them there, and that's to prevent orbital cannons that can't be shot down. And jets will not be limited with that height ceiling, meaning that a good jet pilot can always have a good shot at taking out a helicopter with a successful attack run. We're getting some new toys and attachments to play with in this update too. Thermal scopes are back and being added to multiple weapons. I said that with the new engine that they're using, they can isolate the thermal effect to show only within the scope itself, rather than the whole screen like in previous games. It will also read temperatures and show different hotspots too. And for the sake of balance, these sights will be able to see through smoke and steam that originate from the environment, but not tactical smoke from gadgets, grenades or vehicles. So see these as being able to get a clear picture of dark and blurry environments, or locating players that are in heavy foliage, for example, rather than being able to shoot through smoke grenades that a player might throw down. Claymores are coming to All Out Warfare 2, not that I want them personally, but they are in the update. The Javelin and the Tracer Dart Gun, which I think are awesome. Great for team play, some hilarious moments there too. The EOD bot, I don't see much use for that to be honest in 2042, but it's there now. 3 portal guns are being added to All Out Warfare as well. The MTAR-21, that was one of my favourite guns from BF3 and BF4. The PP2000 and the M39 EMR. Honestly, these felt pretty horrible to use, and I think the portal guns in particular need a big rework. The best of the bunch was easily the PP2000, the SMG. The M39 seemed very poor, and the scope appeared to be misaligned on it when I used it. So I don't see these new weapons being all that popular. Outside of that, there is a humongous, and I mean that literally, list of changes and bug fixes in the patch notes. Mouse input has been optimized again, which is great. The user interface has been improved, the damage indicators have been changed, there's new animations, all sorts of stuff. Plenty of balance changes for specialists too. Rao got a buff, McKay got a nerf, Liz got a big buff, Irish got a buff. The Boris turret now does vehicle damage and we'll prioritize those. Crawford got a big buff. It all looks very promising across the board, but there is one change that I wasn't a fan of either after testing it in the capture event, and I think this will have a big impact on the moment-to-moment infantry gameplay. If you use bigger magazines on your gun now, like the drum mag for example, your aim down the sight speed is significantly slower. You can see that in the clip here that I recorded on the AK. It's not great and it just feels clunky for the sake of it, so not on board with that one. We'll see how the community reacts when the patch goes live. Overall though, this all seems very promising on the surface. It may take some adjustment for the current player base to find their new favourite way to play. There will undoubtedly be those who feel like their freedom of choice was better and the toys they loved the most are being taken away from their favourite specialist, but at the same time it could bring some much needed structure to the game and potentially bring in new players who were longing for some kind of class system to return to the current Battlefield title. Season 4 and 5 are coming up soon too. I'm looking forward to those and hopefully more new content after that further down the line.